Hello everyone, welcome to another video. I'm Lauren and today we are looking at making a cultured buttermilk in preparation for making a traditional cottage cheese. So you will see quite a few recipes online for cottage cheese that use pasteurised milk and an acid such as vinegar. But these are actually recipes for ricotta, not cottage cheese. And the main difference between the two is that cottage cheese uses buttermilk, which gives it that slightly deeper, more tangy taste. And as buttermilk is a cultured milk that has been soured by specific strains of bacteria, you'll need to acquire these bacteria before you start. So if you can get hold of live buttermilk from a supermarket or a shop, then you'll be able to use that, but if not, then you can buy buttermilk starter on the internet, and that's how I'm going to be making mine. This is a sachet of freeze-dried buttermilk starter, and it contains all the bacteria that you need to make the buttermilk culture. Now you might be thinking that if buttermilk is just milk that has been soured by bacteria, which at the end of the day is what all sour milk is, then why not just use any old gone-off milk from the fridge? And in all honesty, you might get lucky and be able to use that milk to make a really nice cottage cheese, but it would be quite a risk. It is highly unlikely that your milk is going to have been soured by the correct strains of bacteria, and so at best you'll have a cottage cheese that doesn't work, and at worst it can actually be quite dangerous and make you really ill. So much better to just start with clean milk and buy in a starter culture just so that you know that it's safe. But this sachet isn't going to be much use to me as it is, and so I'm going to need to activate it. And what you need to do for that is you need to boil roughly 150 ml of pasteurised whole milk, and this will kill any bacteria that may be lingering in there at the moment. Then you allow the milk to cool right back down to room temperature, so we're looking at about 20 degrees Celsius. And in the meanwhile, sterilise a large jar. It needs to be about 1 litre in size, and you can do this by pouring in a little bit of boiling water and just swilling it about, so that the whole thing gets hot. You can then dry your jar and it's immediately ready to have the milk poured into it, and we know that it's going to be nice and safe and clean in there. And now it's ready to have the starter added to it, and we can give it a good swirl around, give it a good mixing so that the bacteria is nice and evenly distributed through the milk, and now we leave this at room temperature for the next 24 to 48 hours to give it time to set. Don't seal the jar completely, bacteria needs to be able to breathe, just place a slightly damp cloth over the jar to prevent any dust from getting in. And here we are 24 hours later. And you'll know the buttermilk culture is ready because it's thickened quite a bit and it's become a sort of runny, lumpy, custardy sort of consistency. But remember that this is still just the starter culture and it's not actually ready for using yet. And yes, I have tried it in this state and it tastes pretty awful, to be honest. It's way too sour. We need to be able to add more milk to the culture though to get it to the consistency where we can actually use it. As our good bacteria is now the dominant, healthy, active force in there, we don't need to be so careful about boiling the top-up milk, and you can literally just pour whole milk straight from the fridge into the jar and top it up to the litre mark, and the bacteria that's already in there will rapidly colonise the new milk and prevent any other bacteria from taking hold. And now we leave this once again for a further 24 hours to let the new milk sour, and then we'll have nice fresh buttermilk that is ready for use in cheeses or any other recipe that calls for it. It can be stored like this in the fridge for up to 7 days, and best of all is that once you've gone through all of this process and you have a nice healthy culture, you'll be able to use it to inoculate any other batches of milk. So there's no real reason why you should actually run out of buttermilk once you've started this. But for now, that's all you need to do to have your own cultured buttermilk. Next video, we will have a look at turning it into a nice batch of traditional cottage cheese. For now though, I hope you've enjoyed this video and good luck starting your own buttermilk. Enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Bye bye!